Hey, it's Kaiwan, and not from Kaiwan Production. Honestly, it's gonna be really hard for me to, uh, you know, forget this habit intro, like Kaiwan Production, because as you can see, I changed the name to Kaiwan Shaban. And the reason I changed my YouTube channel name, because I kind of wanted more about self-branding. Like I've been thinking a lot lately about it, and I feel like if you have one particular name to every social platform, it will be more clear to the audience. But also Cam Production will still remain as a store where you can find all of my preset bundles, overlay, LUTs, and more stuff, related to Photoshop and Lightroom. So yeah, and now let's get to the topic of this tutorial, which is gonna be editing one of my latest photo on the one I posted on Instagram lately, since I got a lot of requests of the colors I've been obsessed lately, which is that green tint, we can say film cinematic look to it. While I'm editing this video, I forgot to mention that the photo I took was taken with Canon 5D Mark IV, and the lens I used was 85mm 1.4, which is really sharp, and the depth and field in the background is freaking nice. So now let's get back to the editing. So today I think is the right time to make a video about it and explain you guys how you can achieve that look step by step. First of all, we're gonna use Lightroom, and then after that we're gonna be using Photoshop to enhance the photo in a better way. So let's jump to it. Alright, so as you can see on the screen, we have the photo, the original photo that we're gonna work on. And starting with Lightroom, we're gonna start with basic adjustment. But before we do that, the reason I wanted to make this tutorial, because obviously I used one preset that I created like a week ago, and I used to pretty much all of the photos from the photo shoot, and the preset is KF2, which is gonna be in my next upcoming pack, which is gonna be Kaiwan Koda film. So this is one of them, this is second, so I need to finish the rest. Like I will probably create around 10 preset and then release the pack. So if you're interested, stay tuned for that. But for now, I'm gonna go step by step how I created the look. Starting with white balance, as you can see from the final result photo, there's a lot of warmth to it in a really nice way. So I'm gonna add some around some temperature around 6,000, maybe 200, 260 is gonna be good. And then I'm gonna go with -1 here to get like that slight glint into it. And then if you go down, we have exposure and contrast. I want to bring down some of the contrast around 0.20 to bring back more detail, and then add a little bit of the contrast to kind of push more darkness to the shadows. So yeah, around +6 I think is gonna be nice. And then we have highlight. I want to add some highlight around 27, and also I want to add some shadows to something around 100, I think. So because I want to bring back the detail, all of the details is just in the shadows, so I can play with colors in a better way. And then if we want to bring back the the shadows to darkness, we can always do that later. And now we're gonna go to white. Basically this controls the brightness on the picture. So I'm gonna go with -17 or 18, and then we have blacks. I'm gonna go with around +15. And guys, like you shouldn't rely on these numbers. These are just for the sake of having the look that I'm seeking for. There will be always a different numbers on your adjustment depending on what you want and what kind of look you're seeking for. So we have presence. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of tiny bit of like clarity. I kind of want like that soft look to the picture. And then I'm gonna bring down the vibrance. I usually like to bring down the vibrance around -24 because boosting colors, it's probably not my thing. So right now we kind of have like this flat image, before after. Now the magic part is turn curving. Turn curves is like it's like the next level thing you can do in Lightroom. So when it comes to turn curve, what I usually like to do in most of the pictures, I start creating 3 points So basically this is the shadow part, this is the highlight part, and this is the mid-tone. And you can control the mid-tone by adding more brightness and darken it if you want. But what I like to do the S-curve shape, which is like that. And the reason I do that, I'll explain you right now. So yeah, something similar like this. And the reason I did that, we want to fade the highlight and shadow, and by pulling up the bottom left corner point and pulling down the right top corner, and then this is the mid-tone. I'm not gonna play with it, but this was only RGB channel. So if you want to play with colors right now, we have red, green, blue. So I'm going to start with red. I'm gonna pretty much try to do the S, but not the same one that we did on the RGB. So I'm gonna create 3-point, and then bring down this shadow. So the red color is the opposite of blue color. So when you bring down the shadow part, it will become blue. When you pull it up, it will become more red. So this is how I shift between colors, and you have to understand why you're doing it. So I think I'm done with red. It's a slide different. Then we're gonna go to green to balance the colors a little bit more. Create 3 points again. Add a little bit of the green tint to the highlight. Shadow a little bit here, pretty much like that. Then we have blue. In blue, I'm gonna do the same thing, not much different. Create 3-point, add a little bit up, and then bring this down. Yes, so as you can see, before, after, we kind of faded like the whole image, and we kind of balanced color together. So now the fun part is the HSL section. We have hue, saturation, and luminance. In hue, basically you can change any color, any certain color that you want to change in the photo. In saturation, you can desaturate or saturate any color in the photo, and luminance is basically controlling the brightness or the darkness of any color in the photo. So basically this is like the color heaven. So in my case, I'm gonna desaturate a lot of colors here. I'm gonna go with -30 something for red, -70 for,
-20 for yellow, then green let's say 69 would be good. We have aqua around 100. Blue, I don't want any blue in my picture to kind of because I feel like blue will steal the whole beauty of the pictures, especially if it's very warm. So yeah, we have -20 purple. We have also -30 magenta. In hue, I think I'll add a little bit of orange tone to the yellow, around -20 maybe, -10 I think will be good, -10. And same with the red, -8. So yeah, pretty much that's it. And to be honest, I feel like the color brightness are a bit too much for the picture. So I'm gonna bring down every color brightness around something like -20 to from 15 to 30. This is 10, maybe -10 would be good. This is, so as you can see, we're bringing back the details on the face. And then we have yellow, around -10 would be nice. Yep, and then we have green. I don't think we can use that much, but let's go with -35. Because we don't have aqua and blue in the pictures, we don't need to change any of these.
So now let's just jump to split toning. Split toning, I think, is like probably the most important section. This is where you can add color to your shadow and highlight precisely. So for example, we have, I think we'll go with this color around 136, and then add the saturation around 17. I think 17 would be really nice. Yeah. So as you can see, like with one, 2 clicks, we got this green like film tint to it. And this is what we were trying to achieve in the beginning. So yeah, like split toning is really important when it comes to adding color to your highlight or shadow. I'm not gonna add any color to my shadow, by the way. I think it's perfect. We have sharpening here. Usually what I do, I add a lot of amount of sharpening to my pictures. So I usually use masking to only like sharpen the edges of the photo. So as you can see, if you hold Option and then slide your masking, you can see that the white edges are the only part will be affected with the sharpening. So this kind of gives it a really unique look to it. And after that, we have grain. I usually like to add grain when it's come to this kind of look. So around 49, I think would be nice. And then here you can change the size and roughness of the grain. I will go with maybe 30, the roughness. Yeah, and then we have camera calibration. You can also play with colors a bit. I'm going to add a little bit of the hue on the red primary to add more vibrance to the yellow tint color. Then we can add more saturation, around 50. Then we have green tint to kind of balance the color. I will add a little bit around 30, and then bring down the saturation. And then because we are boosting too much green tint to it, so I will bring down the saturation around -65. And then we have blue primary. This is the final step we're gonna do, is bringing down a little bit of the blue primary around -13, and then add a little bit of saturation around 25. So yeah, last but not least, one thing is left. It's just adding a gradient to the bottom to kind of darken it more, and that will make the focus and the attention goes to the center of the image, which is the model itself. So what I usually like to do, I bring down my exposure around 0.82 or something like that, and then I also bring down the saturation around -20, and then I add a little bit of warm to it. So yeah guys, pretty much that's it. I mean, this is before, after. You can always play around with the adjustment, highlight, shadow. So this is pretty much it. For example, if we go to the next photo and then just click on previous, it will give us the same look that we just had. So the next one, previous, and this is how I edited pretty much all of my photos. And this is what I like about Lightroom. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna export this picture to Photoshop and add a little bit of the dust texture. Alright, so now what we're gonna do, if there's anything to remove or if there's anything you want to add, you can always do that in Photoshop. In my case, I'm gonna use one of the dust overlay, the pack that I just released called Kaiwan film dust overlay. The link will be in the description if you're interested to get them. This is a quick review about the dust overlays, and to be honest, I don't know which one to go with, but I feel like most of them will fit for this picture. Or this is very nice actually. So number 14, and then all you need to do is just drag it to your main image, and then change the normal blend to screen, and then boom, we got it. Resize it, you can always resize it, and if you want you can also flip it. Yeah, great. You can always play around and add more. We can even add another, let's say another film texture overlay. Let's go with this, just, let's try it out. This might be too much, so that's why we're gonna bring down the opacity around like 28. And then if you want to remove it on the face, or you don't want it in some part of your pictures, all you need to do is just to add a layer mask here, and then brush it with black. So hey guys, this is it for today. This is the final result. I know it's a lot of time and effort to create something like this, but nothing comes easy. So I hope you learned something today. If you did, please go ahead, give it a big thumbs up to this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more upcoming tutorials like this. Have a great time.